Hey guys and ladies, in this video what I'm going to do is a quick review of the Canon HFS200. Now I've owned this camera for almost a year now, so I feel like I can give a decent review on it as well as share some things that I like about the camera as well as what I don't like about the camera. So additionally, I'm going to share with you some extra components that I purchased for the camera that allow me to hook up certain things like a microphone, a hood lens, a remote, and some other things. So definitely look forward to that. What I really like about this camera is the ability to expand on it, just like the Canon HF20, my previous camera. So what I'm going to start with for you is just a size comparison between my old camera, the Canon HF20 and the Canon HFS200. So anyway, again, I have a lot to talk about and to share with you. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so the first thing I want to start with is just a size comparison between the two cameras. Here I have the Canon HFS200 and here I have the Canon HF20. So as you can see here, side by side, the Canon HF20 is a lot smaller than the Canon HFS200, which is on top here. But they're made almost exactly alike. One is just larger than the other. Alright, so now let's go into some of the features of the Canon HFS200. First of all, let's start with what's inside here. We have this double slot. So what does that mean? Basically, I can insert two SD cards in here, expand my space, or what I can do is also copy data from one SD card over to another SD card so that I can go ahead and pull one out, put it in my computer and start editing video and continue recording with the camera. So a very great feature. It can upgrade the space with two cards up to 64 gigabytes. So you can have 64 gigabytes worth of space on here so you can record. So that's an awesome feature. The other feature that I really love about this camera is the powered IS. To be exact, it's the dynamic super range optical image stabilization with powered IS. And that I just really love that feature. Basically, it allows me to have a very stabilized video without a tripod. So it's a lot of times where I can't use a tripod for what I'm shooting, and that feature really comes in handy. The other feature that I really love or really appreciate that this camera has that the Canon HF20 doesn't is this custom dial here with the button here on the front. So let's see if I can get up close to it. What this can do is control many different features. You can control the focus, the exposure, the shutter speed, the mic level, the AGC, the automatic gain control. And with the Canon HF20, it doesn't have the ability to allow me to move it as slow or as fast as I wish to. So when I'm doing like a manual focus, you can kind of give it more of a movie feel if you wish to, or other type of video shots that you want to. With the Canon HF20, it just has a button that you rock left and right, and that really controls how fast it goes. You really don't have as much control. So that's a really excellent feature that this has. Now, what you probably noticed when I just showed you this touch panel here really doesn't have many buttons on it, so that should give you an idea that this is a touch screen here. Now, that for a video camera I really do not like, and I thought I'll probably just get over it, you know, as much as if I continue to use it, but I really haven't. It really does pick up fingerprints a lot, but you can get used to it. But that probably is the only thing with this camera that I really kind of do not like about it. So just to turn it on here, it has a beautiful screen. Love that about it. But everything that I want to do or I have to do, like if I want to start using the manual focus or if I want to go into the menus, I have to touch it on the screen. So here you can see a function button. So if I touch that, it has all these different features. Now, what's great about it is that they did think about making the buttons fairly large for your fingers. Of course, for men, we have larger fingers than women. So, you know, having to go through here and select different features we want to change or enable, you know, the buttons need to be fairly large. But other than that, it is fairly easy to scroll through if you wish to, such as turn on the light. You know, I would really appreciate just a button here somewhere on this camera that I can press turn on the light, but instead I have to touch it on the screen, then I have to scroll down to find it, then I have to click on video light, then I have to click on, and as you see, this pop-up came up. So, you know, I understand that technology is going this path with the touchscreens, but some things, especially with the video camera, I want certain features that I'm going to access a lot to be a certain button already on the camera, and I don't have to go through this menu. But other than that, that's the touch panel. You know, that's probably the only dislike, but you can get over it. You know, it's not a huge big deal, but it's just one of those things. If I had to say something I disliked about this camera, it would be the touchscreen. So more or less, that's the basic new features that I take advantage of with this camera. Everything else is really the same. Of course, it has better speakers or a better mic on it, but other than that, the battery storage is about the same. You definitely want to upgrade the battery. This battery doesn't last very long, but everything else is the same with comparison to the Canon HF20. It does have this advanced mini shoe at the top. So yeah, basically that's it. I believe the actual megapixels that this camera can capture images at is 8.0. I can't really remember what the Canon HF20 is, but yeah, that's basically it. So what I'm going to show you now is just a few extra components that I purchased with this Canon HF20, or what I can use with the Canon HFS200 that I already had for the Canon HF20. I think I said those backwards, but anyway, we're gonna just go ahead and show you some additional components you can use. Alright, so the first thing that I want to start with here is this 58mm lens hood that I purchased from Amazon for around $8, so it wasn't expensive at all. And some of you may be wondering, what exactly do I use it for, and how do I determine if my camera even supports it or what size to get? So first of all, what you could do to actually determine if your camera can support it is by looking on the front of your camera. It usually tells you the size right here. I knew I needed a 58mm lens hood, and the reason I use it, I mostly use it outside, but it's really used to protect your lens from mechanical damage. And as far as hooking it up, this comes off here, you know, and this just mounts on the front of this camera. It just screws in place like so. Screw it in like that, and screw this in the rest of the way. Very easy, quick 1 minute hookup or less, and there you have it. So turn this on, and I am ready to go. So you don't notice the lens hood at all. So again, great little nice little piece that just have in your video bag if you ever need it. Alright, so the next component we're going to look at is this 58mm wide angle lens, and I'm probably going to make just a separate video showing you a video review using this wide angle lens. But anyway, lenses can be fairly expensive. I purchased this on Amazon for about $13. Not expensive at all. And if you know anything about lenses, they can be very, very expensive. But after looking at the reviews, a lot of people said just go for it. It's as cheap as it was, and I was like, okay, why not? So basically, anyway, this cap comes off. You know, take this off here on the back, allows me to screw it on to the front of the camera just like the lens hood, and goes on like so. Just screw it all the way down, and you're ready to go. Fits on just like so. Turn your camera on, do what you need to do, and you're ready to film. So again, I'll show you a video, you know, comparison with the wide angle lens and without it. So anyway, let's move on to the next one. Alright, so the next component I want to go into is this remote. First of all, let me show you another feature that I forgot to mention earlier. This camera also has here underneath this flap, just flipped it down, it's a component port, headphone port, and this weird looking smaller port than a headphone jack or port is this remote port. And at the time I was like, what in the world is that for? I really didn't pay any attention. But then I soon found out that I can hook up one of these doohickeys to it. Now, Canon does make their own remote, but it is way too expensive. I paid about $41 for this shipped. I think you can get it on Amazon for about $21. And what you can do with this is control, such as the focus speed, you control the shutter speed, you can take pictures, turn this camera on and off from it. So it comes with this short little cable here, but you can buy an extender so you can control it from several feet away. So all you do to set this up is just, again, open that flap, take this, plug it into that remote port, and now what I can do is actually, from the remote, turn it on. So definitely a great feature to have. Let's try to actually show you how I can zoom in from this. So pressing this button, you can see I can zoom in with the camera. I can actually control the speed that I want to zoom in. So if I hold it down, it's zooming in just a little bit slower. And again, you can control the shutter speed as well as take photos, and you can start to record and different things like that. So why is this such a great tool to have and a great feature to have on this camera? Well, as you know, if you take a lot of or film a lot of different videos, you know, if you press this button, sometimes that noise from moving it left to right can be picked up from the internal speakers or whatever microphone you're using. You can sometimes bump into the camera, you know, moving the camera, and that'll show up in your video when you're in post. So having a remote eliminates those issues. Now here on the back, as you can see, it has this little weird looking thing. Basically, it's like an alligator clamp. This clamps onto the arm of a tripod or anything else you wish to clamp it onto. So you can, I'll actually just show you how that looks. So that's what we're gonna look at next. Alright, so as you can see here, it just simply clamps onto the arm of the tripod if you want to. But like I said, you can control this from several feet away if you just want to buy an extender for this cable. So again, another great little feature to have, and it eliminates so many other features that you can run into while filming. Alright, so last but not least, the final component that I want to cover is the Rode VideoMic. And I've had this mic for quite some time. I just never did a review video on it, but definitely highly recommend it, and definitely recommend you check out some YouTube videos on it. Now, the Canon HFS200, just like the Canon HF20, has this advanced mini shoe on top, as I said before. But with Canon, they're kind of like Apple, and they kind of centralize you or kind of try to restrict you on the different components that you can use with it. So if you want to use a mic like the Rode VideoMic, you're going to have to buy this adapter for it, which I got off Amazon. Can't remember the price, but it simply just slides into the slot like so, and you just tighten it down. So basically I just leave this on here all the time. It's very small, it doesn't take up a lot of space, and when I'm ready to use this Rode VideoMic, all I have to do is take it and slide it right into that slot and just tighten it back down, and I'm ready to go. So the last thing I have to do here on the front is my VideoMic for this Canon HFS200, plug it in, and I'm ready to record. So I definitely just use this mostly when I'm doing interviews and where I need to capture really great audio, and I don't want to depend on the internal microphone. So that's the final component, and now I'm just going to show you, how complex this camera can look when I have, the Rode VideoMic as well as the remote and the hood's lens or the wide angle lens, just to kind of give you a picture of how everything looks together. Alright, so here's just a final shot of additional components on. I have the Rode VideoMic as well as the remote, and I have the lens hood on the front of the camera. So it kind of looks like I'm going to produce a movie or something here, but I rarely have all three components on at the same time. Again, like with the Rode VideoMic, I use that for like interviews. The lens is if I'm outside, so I may have the Rode VideoMic and the lens hood on at the same time, but rarely will I have this remote on at the same time. So just depends on what exactly you're filming at the time. Alright, so just some final comments here. If you're wondering, do I recommend the Canon HFS200? I definitely do. Love the camera. Just one little feature with the touchscreen, but I can deal with it. Not a big deal. And additionally, in a separate video, I will be doing a video quality test, just give you some sample footage of different features of the camera, messing around with the manual focus, probably do a little field of depth in there since I know what that is now. So definitely look forward to that. And if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Visit my website, visit my contact me page. I have updated that, so you can message me on IM or send me an email or something like that. So anyway, it has been fun, and I'll see you next time.